Please make him welcome, Waseem.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. May peace be on all of you. The very reason we have all gathered is to demand peace for Palestinians, for Lebanese people, and all those living around the apartheid state. Let me call it. The Palestinians have lived through 13 months of intense, brutal genocide. On the contrary, we Australians have lived through the 13 months of betrayal and hypocrisy of our regime, the Australian government. The Israeli professor by the name Nurit Al-Hanan, she said and criticized the evilness of Israel in the last 12 to 13 months. She said that Israel has reached the unimaginable peak of evil. I say, Israel has surpassed the cruelty, the brutality, and the barbarity of Hitler's Nazi regime. I say, the baby killers have now entered what you can call the fold of cannibalism and bestiality. There is no evil that they have spared. There is no atrocity that they have not perpetrated. In history, we had a figure by the name Pharaoh of Egypt. It was a regime over hundreds of years that committed atrocity after atrocity. And one of their cruel factors, one of their atrocities known was they would kill the children. They would target the children. By the same premise, Israel has now become the pharaonic regime of the 21st century for killing children with targeting them. As Loki said, we have now entered the Israeli imperialism period. It kills as it breeds. The very existence and survival of Israel now is on killing the Palestinian innocent people. And we all are aware now, it has now entered and crossed the border into Lebanon, and only God knows that how far they will engulf the entire Middle East into this war. But let us get a few things clear. You need to understand, when the brutality of the evil regime increases, it is a sign of their weakness. It is the sign of their end. It is a sign of their cowardice. And I want to tell you, and I want to congratulate everyone who is here. Your presence is shaking the land, the feet of the Zionist entity. Your presence is pulling their legs down. Your presence is pulling their regime down. They are losing not only in Jerusalem, they are losing in New York, they are losing in London, and they are losing right here in Melbourne. They are losing on every front. And in places where they thought they have strongholds. The land grabbers soon will see the earth is going to shrink on them. And I say, we need to turn this momentum into an action plan. We have been coming out for the last 13 months without any week. Every Sunday, hundreds and thousands and 10,000s of people have been coming to the city of Melbourne and in Sydney and across Australia. This is a sign of resistance from the far lands to bring victory to Palestine. Being a Muslim and being an Imam, I would like to put forward some principles that I have learned. The Almighty God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, says in the Quran in Surah chapter number 2, verse number 11, it says, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُصْلِحُونَ. The verse says, and when it is said to the evildoers, do not make terrorism, do not make mischief on earth, they say, we are peacemakers. I never thought in my life of 40 plus years that I would see this verse in a living capacity. Today, in the United Nations, the ambassador of Israel says that we are peacemakers. I could only see that this verse has come into its action, that the evildoers, when they are said to not create mischief on earth, they would respond and say, we are peacemakers. The whole world knows now who are the child killers. The whole world knows now who are the genociders. The whole world knows now who is the true terrorist state in this world. The United Nations is the entity that actually acknowledged and accepted the apartheid regime of Israel as a legitimate state in 1948. You have heard of the proverb, biting the hand that feeds you. Today, the same Israel, the ambassador of Israel in United Nations has said earlier this year, United Nations is a terror organization. Can you imagine Israel biting back the hand that fed it? And I warn you, I warn Australian regime, I warn the Australian government, I warn the Australian parliamentarians, you will soon see this illegitimate child, this illegitimate state, this apartheid regime will soon bite your own hand as well. Australia will face the opposition from Israel, and we will have no choice. I come towards the last part. I want an action plan for us to take home. Federal elections are coming. We are seeing these governments, these two major parties, making false promises once again. We have seen what they could do in the last 4, 8, 12, and 20 years. We have seen what they have done in the last 50 to 75 years. We don't need any more stupid claims or promises. I would say, when you go to vote this time, when you are voting for federal election this time, remember that you cannot walk over the dead bodies, the corpses of the Palestinian children. More than 200,000 of them have been killed in the last 4, 8, 10 years. We cannot walk over the corpses. We cannot walk over Sidra's dead body with her legs blown off. We cannot walk over Hind Rajab's cold-blooded body, which the Israelis shot 360 times, waiting for the ambulance to arrive to help and assist her. We cannot walk over. We cannot walk over the corpse of Reem's body where the head was blown off. We cannot walk past the millions of Palestinian refugees and say to them, I'm going to vote for you and vote for the same regime and vote for the same party that was complicit in genocide. We will not vote for these murderers, for these child killers, for those who have got blood on their hands. We will not vote for the Labour or the Liberal Party at all in this federal election. Israel has broken the international order. You need to try and understand the danger of this. The world has been surviving on so-called international order, laws and rules. We cannot imagine the barbarity that is going to happen across the world. This is not going to stop at the borders of Palestine. We're already witnessing the war entering into Lebanon, and it will move forward. Unfortunately, if we continue to allow those people of power who are sitting in the houses of power in Australian Parliament to continue to control us, then they will destroy this country, our country, our land as well. As those who came to us, those who conquered this land before us, they destroyed the lives of the Aboriginal people. They will destroy the lives of the inhabitants once again. And the only way we can stop this is to make sure our vote counts, and we put this two-party system off the block, and we bring a hung parliament, we bring the independents, we bring the other parties which are ready to listen and who are ready to change the way Australian politics works. I conclude by saying what Malcolm X said. He said, nobody can give you freedom. Nobody can give you equality or justice or anything. If you are a man, you should take it. I say, if you are a pro-Palestinian, you should snatch it from the houses of power. Thank you.